group of Israeli settlers in the West Bank are vowing to resist a court order to vacate a property they say is rightfully theirs. The settlers illegally occupied a house in the city of Hebron over the weekend and say they'll fight against an Israeli court order to vacate the house. Palestinians say the property is rightfully theirs and that they were forced out, but the settlers are saying they won't give up the house without a fight. Horiel Haddad has this report.
This house was once occupied and built by a Palestinian, but now it stands covered in barbed wire and guarded by a group of angry Israeli settlers. Yesterday they set up camp inside this house in the city of Hebron to protest against an Israeli court order to leave the property. The settlers entered the house carrying blankets, while Israeli soldiers, who will eventually carry out the eviction, patrolled the building. The Israeli settlers warn they were willing to break the law if the home is forcibly taken away from them.
I cannot imagine what can happen here. Terrible things can happen here. And again I say, it's in the hands of the government, of the Israeli ministers. They can decide to act in violence, and they can decide to allow Jews to use the property peacefully.
13 settlers in total have been living in the house for a year and a half. The case has attracted a lot of support among the general settler community, with 150 other Israelis coming to the area to support the family. They wielded doors shut and stocked up on food in preparation for the imminent standoff with the Israeli army.
I'm going to stay here. I mean, will they carry me out? I'm not going to rightfully just walk out, but I'm not going to fight back. I mean, they're my brothers also, but just by being here and showing my support, it's, one thing.
The settlers moved into the house in March 2007, saying they'd legally purchased it from its Palestinian owner, but the Palestinian says that didn't happen.
هذا البيت بيتي وأنا بنيته بإيدي. بنيته إلي بنيه 12 سنة. والبيت كنت بدي أسكنه آخر فترة بعد 12 سنة. جيت أعمر فيه، عمرت فيه 3 شقق وجيت بدي أسكنه. تفاجأت إن المستوطنين بيجوا بيهجموا على البيت وبياخذوه مني. وهذا البيت بيتي وأوراقه كله باسمي وفيش أي بيع ولا أي شراء. البيت بيتي.
1 week ago, Israel's High Court gave the settlers 3 days to vacate the building, but the order was delayed due to a Jewish holiday which has now ended. Palestinian neighbours say since the court ruling, the settlers have been acting violently towards them by throwing stones at their windows. Last week, Israeli settlers also spray-painted graffiti denouncing the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, on the walls of a mosque. For a long time, Hebron in the occupied West Bank has been a flashpoint of Israeli-Palestinian violence. And although this court order is generally seen as being in favour of the Palestinians, it may end up only fueling the violence and hostility between the divided community. Horiel Haddad, Islam Channel News.